Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the AIC, and thank you very much for attending this keynote address. My name is Jan Metzger. I run TMT Investment Banking for Asia Pacific for Credit Suisse. It's my great honor today to introduce to you YY, the chairman and CEO of Lenovo, who's just last night been named by Barron's one of the top CEOs in the world for the third year in a row. And as you know, he's running the world's #1 PC maker and the world's #3 smartphone maker. So it's a very dynamic and exciting industry, and he will have a lot of insights to share with us. So without too much further ado, I would like to ask YY to come to the stage and give us his thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Good morning. Thank you for coming, especially when I know many of you may still have your minds on the Rugby 7 tournaments. So I'm honored to have this opportunity to talk about some of the key trends we see impacting our industry. By our industry, I'm referring to much more than PCs, although we are the largest PC company. It includes the entire range of the internet devices, infrastructure, services, and applications. And that's the industry Lenovo plays in today. I have been in this industry for my entire career. If I have to pick up one word to describe this industry for the past 30 years, this word should be change. Fast and far-reaching changes. New technologies emerge on a daily, if not hourly basis. New business models constantly disrupt the industry. Companies try to be on the forefront of these changes in order to stay one step ahead of competition. And Lenovo is no exception. I appreciate this opportunity to share with you my views on some of the key trends that are impacting our industry. Let me start with an overview where I think the key product categories are going. I will comment on PCs, tablets, smartphones, wearables, and servers, respectively. I believe PCs will continue and accelerate its consolidation. Today, the top 3 players, Lenovo, HP, and Dell, account for 53% of total PC sales. That's up 6 points in just the last year, and almost 9 points in the last 2 years. The second-tier players lack the scale to compete effectively, and therefore are scaling back even further, or even considering exiting this business. As a global leader in PCs with 20% market share, Lenovo believes this is a growth opportunity for us as we leverage our scale and efficiency to gain most share and achieve higher profitability. Just like last quarter, actually, our PC profitability reached a historical high of 5.4%. Even in a mature industry, you still have to win with innovation, not just with efficiency only. One of the most important innovations in the PC industry in the last couple of years has been form factor. And Lenovo is leading that with our Yoga family of products as innovation ranging from tablets to PCs. Then what is tablets' future? When tablets appeared a few years ago, many people thought it would significantly cannibalize PC sales. I predicted at that time that the tablet would not completely replace PCs, but would create multi-form PCs. On one hand, PC had to change to include some tablet attributes, such as touch experience, thinner, lighter. But many people still want a full-function device with a keyboard. So that's why we created a Yoga PC, which has become very popular in the market. On the other hand, tablet becomes a niche category of the big PC family to replace netbook, the previous netbook, I believe future tablets will be mainly used for media consumption at home and will not be something people replace every 1 to 2 years. After a few years of rapid growth, the tablet market is now flattening. In smartphones, while mature markets will become stable, although market is saturated, but the frequency of changing products will be faster. But there is a huge growth opportunity in emerging markets, where a smartphone will be the first internet device for most people, or even the online device. And the competition will likely remain fierce, particularly in China and the emerging markets, because of the imperfect IP protection. And also in China, we have many players, local players. Nowadays, customers use their smartphones mainly to browse the internet, access social media, take photos, and watch videos. So connectivity and the user experience are the key to succeed. We are seeing more collaboration between device providers and service providers. Companies must be creative in collaborating across the value chain and the ecosystem in order to win. As the Internet of Things increasingly becomes a reality, smartphone will likely become the hub for people to link everything together for centralized control. There has been a lot of exploration in the smart home area, and we expect to see more and more innovative technologies there. And there are wearables like smartwatch, smart band, and etc. We have seen some exciting products from multiple players. A key question in my mind is, will wearables become the next smartphone, meaning an independent device that people use often and change often, or the next tablet, meaning you buy one and never need to buy another one? So I don't have the answer yet, but if you want me to pick one, so I will choose the latter. Last but not least, let's look at the servers. Every 400 smart devices drives one server. Add the demands from cloud, social, and big data. And you see explosive growth in data centers. I believe this is a growing market, especially in emerging markets. For example, during the Chinese New Year this year, getting the lucky money on WeChat became a very popular game in China. When hundreds of millions of people try to do it at the same time, there is a huge demand on robust servers. And the Lenovo actually proved our servers were strong enough to handle it with Tencent. Virtualization is another trend in the enterprise space. It's happening not only to computing, but also to storage and the network, massively improving the scalability of the infrastructure. So that's a quick overview on where the industry is heading across various product categories. PCs and tablets will likely to be further consolidated, and the companies that best balance efficiency, scale, and innovation will benefit. Smartphones will likely grow, particularly in emerging markets, and the focus is more on user experience. Servers are a growing market in emerging markets, particularly in the IPDC area with a higher barrier to entry. Wearable market has seen interesting innovation and tremendous energy, but the potential remains to be seen. Next, I would like to discuss specifically two other trends that are having a profound and even disruptive impact on how we should engage customers and do business today. One of these trends is the rise of the social mobile internet. This trend is about the continued rapid expansion of affordable, high-quality wireless connectivity. By next year, IDC predicts that wireless and mobile devices will account for the majority of the internet traffic worldwide. And much of this growth will be in emerging markets. This growth also creates what we call the social mobile internet. The key part is social. As customers are able to constantly connect and exchange information online with companies as well as with other consumers. Now, they do not just consume content, they create it. And the content that they create has significant impact on consumers' purchase decisions. Studies show that more than 70% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase based on recommendations from social media. When a customer is unhappy, he or she is much likely to complain to the company directly, but instead went on Twitter, Facebook, Weibo, or WeChat. Companies that make an effort to hear these customers on social media and act quickly on their feedback will have a huge advantage. For example, Lenovo has built a crowdsourcing platform where more than 1,000 engineers interact with 300,000 active users every day. The platform is organized around the devices, applications, games, etc. On average, 3,000 ideas for product improvement are posted here every day, and 1/3 of them are adopted by our engineers. Historically, we divided our customers into two categories: relationship customers, meaning commercial accounts, and we build a deeper relationship with them, and transactional customers, mainly consumers and SMBs. But in today's world, I have challenged my teams to treat all customers as relationship customers, not in every action, but in our mindset. This requires new skills and resources. It changes the content of many people's day-to-day jobs, because now we try to seek interaction at touch points before, during, and after each device is sold. It changes my job too. I opened my personal Twitter, LinkedIn, and Weibo accounts and interact with our customers and social media users. What I learned was my 3 million followers on Weibo were brutally honest with me. They even have strong opinions about my hairstyle. So this is truly a new challenge for a company of our size. But the rewards are also real when we leverage it well. For example, our killer application, Share It, seeks input from customers on Weibo every day and improves it on a weekly basis. And as a result, it now has more than 200 million users already. This large user base is a great competitive advantage to leverage in this internet era. The next trend I would like to talk about is user experience is king. The social mobile internet has also created a new type of consumers. They want to buy more than just a device. They want to buy an experience. Already, more than 40% of consumers consider user experience the top factor in purchase decision. That experience must be integrated end-to-end, combining hardware, software applications, and focusing on user interface, security, real-time system management, and app download assistant. If a company can offer the smoothest experience in connecting all these elements, it will add real value to its customers. For device makers like Lenovo, this trend offers an opportunity to build the best platform or bridge that connects with application developers and the service providers at the back end and with the users at the front end. In fact, by year 2017, 50% of the consumer product investment across the high-tech industry will target user experience innovation. Companies that truly understand the user's pain point and have a solution will win. For example, we found when people watched videos on a tablet, they had to rely on different add-ons to make the tablet stand. Based on observing how people lived their lives, we invented a multi-mode tablet, Yoga series, which can stand, tilt, hung, and even has a built-in projector and a great sound effect for the entire family to watch a movie together at home. Another pain point we discovered in customer experience is sharing photos when there is no wireless connection, no 3G, 4G, no Wi-Fi. People love to take photos together and share immediately. So an app that enables them to do it in any environment, with or without wireless, is going to solve a big problem. So Lenovo created an app, super app, called Share It, which does exactly that. And it has become one of the most popular apps for our customers. The importance of experience also leads to higher demand for customized products. Today, people want the personality and the distinction. For example, when you give people options to choose the color, the material, and the finish of their phones, and do it online or in a carrier store, you are giving them a unique experience and an opportunity to make a personal statement with their devices. The company that did a great job at this is Motorola. And we are trying to apply that choose choice model to smartwatches as well in the future. So I have talked about my view on where different product categories are going, as well as the rise of the social mobile internet and the experience is king as two key trends that profoundly impact our industry. There has never been a more exciting time to be in the technology industry. Unlike those companies that can proactively evolve and adapt, will thrive and lead. Lenovo works hard to take advantages of this exciting trend to bring the best innovation and user experience to our customers. Once again, I thank you for this opportunity. Now I'm happy to take your questions.
Wai, can I introduce you to come over to the chair here? I would also like to invite Wai-Ming Wong, the CFO of Lenovo, to join us, please.
This one?
Yes, please, over here. Thank you. So to get the question and answer session started, I may maybe monopolize the first 3 questions or so, and then I'll hand it over to the floor. So Wai, in your talk, you talked a lot about the importance of social media and how that drives a lot of consumer behavior. What can a device maker like yourself do to leverage that to sell more of your devices?
Definitely, social media will become more and more important. In any companies, definitely it's even more important for the technology company. So as I said today, so actually our product development engineers can leverage social media to collect the input and the feedback on our product to prepare for the next generation of the product. Definitely, if it's hardware devices, it will take half a year, 1 year to prepare. But for the software, we can replace on a weekly basis. So that has changed the development approach. Definitely. So we leverage this social media to test the new machine prototype machines. And definitely, if those customers like our product, they will proactively promote on the social media. So that is very helpful. Also, we leverage social media to do the service. So actually, our service team now monitor the social media every day, every hour, every minute. So if they find the complaint, so definitely they will react quickly to fix the issue. And also, actually, some customers can help us to fix other customers' issue on with the social media.
Because they're responding in real time.
Yes. So that become even more helpful and useful. So that's so definitely all the companies should pay more attention to the social media.
So staying with this theme of mobile, under your tenure, Lenovo has become the #1 PC maker in the world. You've built the world's #3 smartphone player. We're all assuming you have aspirations to displace Apple and Samsung as the top smartphone makers. How do you do that, given how long they've been established in those top positions?
Definitely not this year. But I think we should have that kind of ambition. You know, Lenovo, we have our successful formula. So we have the right strategy and good execution. We have the efficient and effective business model. We have the innovative products and technology. We have the global diversified team and the culture. So these 4 elements are always our successful formula. So particularly to compete with a company like Apple and Samsung, we think we should leverage not just our efficient operation or platform, but also the innovation. So no company can dominate the innovation. So we should be more creative, more energetic to do the innovation in the future.
And look, as part of your, as my final of my third questions here is, you've recently closed 2 pretty big pieces of M&A, the IBM server business and the Motorola business from Google, which were 2 deals over $5 billion, and I think you were the first company to ever announce 2 such big deals within a week. So,
with your help.
Oh, thank you. We're very honored to be allowed to help with that. Good. How do you go about integrating those? Why in such an international scope?
Definitely. So, so you should ask why we buy this company first.
Okay.
So actually, so I think when you do the acquisition, you must have your company's strategy in your mind.
Yes.
So what's your direction? So whether this acquisition can add value to your strategy. So actually, you know that very well. So before we made the 2 acquisitions, actually we had the strategy. So we want to enter into the mobile space. So globally, we want to enter into the enterprise space globally, given the PC market has become saturated, matured. So we must find the growth area. So we had the strategy already. So when we made these two acquisitions, we thought that could help us to realize this strategy. So that's why we made that. We always do the acquisition for the capability, not for the scale, for the volume. So I believe these two acquisitions can help us to get what we want to get. Okay. So like why we buy Motorola, because they have the good IP positioning, they have the good brand, they have the good engineers and the development capability. Why we buy the System X of IBM, because their product portfolio, x86 server product portfolio, are very rich and strong, competitive. Their development capability is strong. But meanwhile, both business so actually Motorola business was losing money. So we must have the approach to turn around that. But that's Lenovo's stronghold, because we have the efficient operation platform. So actually after the acquisition, we have already found more than 500 million synergy in the material cost, and also we plan to significantly reduce their manufacturing cost. So that's what we should leverage the older Lenovo's expertise. Definitely, the System X or server business is a similar story.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. I think with that, we wanted to open the questions up to the floor, and I will moderate that a little bit. Maybe the young lady in the front here.
Hi. Technology is supposed to be an enabler, but many people are increasingly frustrated with how it's taken over their lives, overwhelmed by information, overwhelmed by choices. Speaking of trends, do you see a pushback against technology and the virtual world? Is there going to be a counter-revolution?
You mean too many technologies?
Well, yes. I mean, if you talk about e-commerce, for instance, you have choices. But you don't want to choose from 2,000 options. And a lot of people are actually overwhelmed by the excess of information. And the human condition hasn't actually changed that much, right? Physiologically.
Yeah, so that's why I said that the user experience will become more and more important. So it's not just hardware. When you buy a smartphone, it's actually the combination of hardware, software, and applications. So definitely we will help you to preload the applications you will frequently to use. In China, it should be Baidu search. It should be the WeChat, Weibo. So this kind of, and also we will provide App Store, which you can easily to find the applications you want to get, to download that, to use that. And also, we will help you to manage your devices in the future. Today, actually, when you download the multiple applications, so often, even though you don't want to use that, but it turns on. So that's why your battery life is shorter. That's why you feel your wireless package is not enough. So we can help you to manage that this situation in the future. So I include all these kind of things as a user experience. So if a device provider would not pay attention to this area, they will not win in the future.
Mr. Yang, thank you very much for your speech. It's very interesting to hear your thoughts. My name's Lee Powell. I'm the editor of Asian Investor Magazine. Our magazine covers the asset management industry, which is, there's a lot of companies striving to find the new ways of growth in the industry I write about. And Asia, of course, has a vast growing population full of retail investors and high net worth individuals, and the growth profile of them is very interesting to the asset management companies that I write about. I wanted to ask you how, as a device maker, you might see the future in terms of working with asset management companies. You mentioned WeChat and, of course, Lucky Money. Now, that was an example of technology being used actually to, to raise a lot of money in that particular instance. So as a device maker, I wanted to ask you whether you saw any opportunity to work with asset management companies as a provider of tech solutions and tech instruments that can help them and yourselves, of course, to raise some money. I don't know how much of a priority that is or how much of a future you might see in that sort of collaboration.
So you want to answer the question. Asset management is your job.
Well, I think this is, this is a very specific, obviously we are a device provider. I think we are very happy to work with any industry that actually help, the play in the industry that provide much better service for their customers. I think, for example, if you take asset provider, I don't know whether you are consumer-related or high-net-worth individual. It really depends on what exactly, your target customers. I think what our sort of objective is to make sure that we actually have a device that actually your potential customers, your customers will be able to use that as a personal device, stay very close to you, be able to connect with you and make business decisions, wherever that is, buy and sell stock, buy and sell fund, choose wherever stock or investment that is valuable that fit into his risk profile. So I think it will be very difficult to have a generalized sort of what exactly that device is. I think, as I said, we are very happy, to have our device to work in vertical industry that provides the best, user experience to the players in the industry, to its customers.
I just wonder, what is your role model and what is your competitor or potential competitor?
So actually, no other company has a similar portfolio of a business as Lenovo. So HP Dell, they have a PC server businesses, but they don't have the mobile business. Samsung, Apple, they have the mobile business. Definitely, Apple has a PC business as well, but they don't have the enterprise business. So I think we are very unique. We are a very unique company. So actually, no successful company has the same business model or same product portfolio as others. So we want to be successful in all the area we enter into. But definitely, we need to learn from other companies as well. For example, we should learn the innovation from the company like Apple. And how to build the brand, how to build the fans club. So that's the thing we should learn from. Definitely, we should learn from the Samsung as well. So they have the vertical integrated business model. So something we can learn, but something we cannot learn. So probably we will not do the too deep integration. So on the component, etc. So actually, we learned from Dell as well. So for that direct business model. So actually, before year 2000, 2003, so Lenovo, we had only a transactional business model. Which model is good for the transactional customers, consumers, and SMB customers. But the DARES model, direct model, is good for the large enterprise customer, government. So we learned that. They'll build a dual engines, dual business model to focus on enterprise and consumers separately. So that has become a very successful model to drive our PC business to become the number one. So I think actually this is Lenovo's attribute. So why we stick to our core competence, we learn something from outside.
About Tencent, Alibaba, or Xiaomi, how do you think about it?
Yeah, so we also have learned a lot from those internet companies. So actually, just on the Sunday, so I attended a so-called IT summit in Shenzhen. So I had a panel with Pony Ma and Robin Robin Lee together. So I talked what we have learned from that. So actually in the past, we view our customers just as particularly for those consumer customers, as just a one-time customer. So we sell product to them. Then next time they come back to us is probably their product has a problem. When their product has a problem, we don't have frequent interaction, connection. But with internet service, so they interact with their customer much more frequently than us, on a monthly basis, on a daily basis. So we have learned a lot on that. So that's why we have started to build a different products and a different business model. So that's why I said in the future, Lenovo's devices, no matter it's a smartphone, it's a tablet, it's a PC, they are not just the hardware. There will be hardware plus software plus application platform. We will help our customers on their security, device security. We will help our customer to manage their device on a real-time basis. So if this application shouldn't be turned on, we will help them to shut down, so that you don't need to consume too much battery or the bandwidth of the wireless. And we will help them to choose, to search, to choose the application they want to get. So after we do that, so we believe our customer will become more active customers. So we'll become more monthly active customers, more daily active customers in the future. So that will give us a lot of opportunity to do more businesses with those customers. So that's what we have learned from the so-called internet companies.
Great. The gentleman over here.
Thank you, Dr. Yan. Just to ask your view, in the next, let's say, 10 years, do you see the bottleneck is more on the hardware side or on the software side? It looks to me application and so on, the social mobile and so on, the advance in the software and application has been much faster, while the hardware side probably the bottleneck potentially either for the big data or Internet of Things and so on. The bottleneck probably is also on the hardware side. Since your company across both hardware and software, do you see in the IT industry in the coming decade more bottleneck is on the hardware or on software? And if it's on the hardware, do you see hardware makers going to see the margin expansion? Thank you.
So actually, I have a different view. Or reverse view. So it's because the hardware become or have become faster and faster. The more and more capacity on the memory, and network become faster and faster. That gives us has given the software company more opportunity to develop the applications. So actually, I think over the past 10 years, probably we have seen more application or software developers to participate in the industry than any time before. So actually, partially it's driven by the Android, by the open system. So now developers become easier to participate in providing the service, providing the applications to customers. So this is my view. But definitely, hardware will continue to grow. So computing, storage, and the network will continue to grow. Thank you.
Speaking of innovation, Chairman Yang, could you describe the most important changes taking place in China broadly and in your company more specifically to create a climate for innovation?
Yeah, definitely. So now Chinese government is very encouraging the innovation and the entrepreneurship because I think in the past the key driver for our economic growth is low-cost manufacture. But that model cannot be sustainable forever. So now we must shift to the innovation, to the entrepreneurship. So that's the Premier Li Keqiang said at his report, annual report. So definitely, government has tried to incentive this trend. So there will build some fund to innovate on the startup companies. That will give the tax incentive to the innovation to the startup companies. So et cetera. So definitely the private sector also are very active. So on that, particularly in the internet sector. As I said, given now the platform for internet has become more and more matured. So more and more application providers, service providers want to participate in this change and in this trend. So you will see more and more companies or startup companies or innovation enter into the market.
I think that's all the questions we have time for today, and with that,
you want
to do one more question? We have time for one more question in that case before we have to yield the room.
Yang, I just want to ask about the latest round of reorganization in Lenovo and how will this help Lenovo's new growth initiatives?
Reorganization.
Oh, reorganization. Yes, so I think that's a very good question. I would like to answer. Because previously we had only one business, which is PC business. So our company was focusing just on this business. But after we bought Motorola, bought System X of IBM, we become more diversified. But definitely that's good for a company for the future. We have multiple engines, growth engines in the future. But we still, we learned from our previous success. If we want to succeed, we must focus. We must focus. So for each of the business, we must have a group of people to focus on that. So that's why we had this restructure, organization restructure. So with this change, so our president and COO, Gianfranco Lanci, and some other executives will focus on the PC and the enterprise business. Why we group these two businesses together? Because we think they have a lot of synergy, not just in the sales and the marketing area, but also in the development and the supply chain area. So we group them together. And I will put my energy on the mobile and on the service ecosystem area. So that's why we make this change and the reorganization. So with that change, you can count on this leadership team to be more successful in the future. Thank you.
I think with that, we have to end this. YY, this was great, fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.